This is the Mind the Gap podcast. It's presented by Michael Comyn. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends about it. You'll find more information and episode notes on www.mindthegap.ie. Here's this week's episode.
Imagine you're told one day that your job is no longer needed. The job is redundant. Or you're approaching retirement, stepping away from the role that's defined you for years, maybe even decades. It's not just the role that's gone. It feels like a part of you has gone missing. For years, when someone asked, "What do you do?" the answer came quickly, easily. But now, without that title, it's like the question shifts to, who am I without it? In this episode of Mind the Gap, we're digging into self-esteem and how we build our sense of identity. Why do so many of us tie what we are to what we do? And how can we untangle our self-worth from labels we use, the titles of achievement? Let's look at some answers through the wisdom of Stoicism, emotional intelligence, and a bit of modern psychology. And as always, I'll try to share some practical ideas to help you uncover a more profound, more robust sense of who we are. The Stoics were clear. Our identity isn't tied to our roles or possessions. It's tied to our character and who we are inside. Marcus Aurelius, you've heard me mention him before, once wrote in Meditations,
"You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength."
Think about that for a moment. It's a profound reminder, especially for someone stepping away from a career. Your job title might vanish, but your character and values remain. Epictetus, another Stoic giant, went further. He taught that life is divided into two parts, what's in our control and what's not. A job title? External, not in our control. How do we respond to losing that title? The gratitude, focus and resilience we show are entirely ours to own. He also wrote,
"It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters."
That's timeless advice for anyone facing uncertainty. For the Stoics, every shift in life, retirement, redundancy or a sudden curveball, isn't just an ending. It's a transition, an opportunity to reframe. They had a phrase for it, amor fati. It means love of fate. Embrace life's changes as chances to grow. So when a role ends, ask yourself, what can I still contribute? What values will guide me now? Seneca, another wise man, adds,
"We suffer more in imagination than in reality."
Often the fear of what's next overwhelms us, not reality itself. Reflecting on this can help us focus on the present moment and what's within our power. Well, let's shift gears to emotional intelligence, or EQ. I'm a fan of Daniel Goleman's work in this area, and one of the core ideas in EQ is self-regard. Essentially, how much you value yourself, just as you are, not because of what you do. When redundancy hits or retirement looms, self-regard can take a beating. But here's the key. Your worth remains with your title. It's about recognizing the value of who you are, utterly independent of achievements or roles or titles. Goleman suggests practical ways to develop this, like journaling, practicing mindfulness, or seeking honest, kind feedback from people you trust. These tools help you to look inward, to focus not on the roles you've played, but on the core of who you are. Goleman also emphasizes self-awareness as a cornerstone of emotional intelligence. He says,
"The better you know yourself, the better your relationship with the rest of the world."
This is vital when navigating transitions that challenge our sense of self. Think about retirement. It's a classic moment when people question their identity. For decades, your life might have revolved around professional success. So who are you without it? Emotional intelligence says shift the focus inward. Reflect on your passions, your relationships, and your values. These are what define you, not a line on a business card. Now, let's bring in some insights from modern psychology. Carl Rogers, one of the greatest in humanistic psychology, had the idea of unconditional positive regard. It's a fancy way of saying that your self-worth shouldn't depend on your actions or what others think of you. It's about accepting yourself, flaws and all. Here's an interesting thing psychologists have found. When we tie our identity too tightly to a single role, like our job, we risk something called enmeshment. That's when your sense of self gets tangled up in just one aspect of your life. Lose that role, and it feels like you're adrift. Psychologist Nathaniel Branden, known for his work on self-esteem, once wrote,
"Self-esteem is the reputation we acquire with ourselves."
In other words, it builds over time through our actions and beliefs about ourselves, not external validation. Even during transitions, we can nurture this inner reputation by aligning with our values. William Bridges, a psychologist specializing in transitions, had an excellent framework for navigating these moments. He describes 3 stages. Number 1, the ending. First, acknowledge the loss. Grieve it if you need to. It's okay to feel sad or disorientated. 2, the neutral zone. This is the in-between stage, when things feel uncertain. Use this time to explore. Try new hobbies, reconnect with old passions, and rediscover what makes you tick. 3, the new beginning. Finally, embrace the new chapter of your life. It's not about replacing what you've lost, it's about building something new, rooted in what truly matters to you. So whether it's a career change or stepping into retirement, psychology gives us tools to navigate these shifts with resilience and clarity. Now, I want to introduce you to someone who gets less airtime than maybe he deserves. Musonius Rufus. He was a Stoic philosopher, a contemporary of Seneca, often called the Roman Socrates. What I love about Musonius is how practical his teachings are. He believed actual value lies in how we live our lives, not in titles or roles. Musonius once said,
It is not the place nor the occupation, but the mind alone that makes anyone happy or wretched.
That's a profound truth to anyone facing retirement or redundancy. It's a reminder that happiness comes from within, from our mindset, not from external circumstances. Now, he also encouraged simplicity in living. For someone transitioning into a new phase of life, this is a powerful reminder to focus on what truly matters. Let's talk about some ideas. Practical, doable things to help you through transitions. Think of these as little conversations you can have with yourself. First, ask yourself bigger questions. Instead of focusing on what you've lost, try asking, what do I want this next phase of my life to look like? What makes me feel alive? This isn't about fixing everything overnight, but opening a door to possibility. 2. Celebrate small wins. Start with the little victories. Did you finally read that book that's been sitting on your shelf for years? Did you have a meaningful conversation with a friend? These moments matter. 3. One of my favorites. Reconnect with joy. Remember something you loved to do as a child. Drawing, playing music, gardening. Give it a try. Joy doesn't need a title, or indeed a paycheck. Be kind to yourself. Imagine speaking to a dear friend going through this transition. Now turn that same kindness inwards. Stay curious. Life after a significant change is unfamiliar, but curiosity can be a guide. What's something new you can explore? A class, a hobby, a volunteer opportunity. Redefine success. Ask yourself what success looks like now. Is it about being present with your family or contributing to your community? Define it in a way that feels true to you. And finally, build connection. Find others navigating similar change. Could you share your stories or listen to theirs? Realizing you're not alone can be a strength. I want to speak to you directly, if you're still with me. Yes, you, the person listening. Life transitions, whether through redundancy or retirement, can be overwhelming. They force us to ask that scary question: who am I without my title? But I want you to hear this. You're much more than a title or a job. And that's what Mind the Gap is all about. Helping you bridge that space between where you are now and where you want to be. So far in the episodes, we've tried to explore how to navigate those gaps, whether they're emotional, intellectual, or even existential. This journey is about finding the tools, the ideas, and the inspiration to move forward with purpose. You're a person of incredible value, strength, and potential. You've got so much within you that isn't tied to a business card or a paycheck. Your worth, it's not negotiable. It's intrinsic. As Musonius Rufus said,
It's not what you do, but how you think and live that defines your happiness.
take that to heart. Start asking the more significant questions, celebrating the small wins, and being kind to yourself as you enter a new chapter. Mind the Gap.
That was the Mind the Gap podcast. It was presented by Michael Comyn. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends about it. You'll find more information and episode notes on www.mindthegap.ie.